Welcome back to the subject Object-Oriented Analysis and Design. Today's topics are use case diagram notations, use case diagram relationship, and one case study. So coming to the use case diagram, generally this diagram comes under the behavioral diagram. So as we know that all the human models are under behavioral and structural. So this use case diagram comes under the behavior diagram. Generally, this diagram is used whenever the user used to approach the developer. So as we know that in the iteration model, in evolutionary model, there is a frequent reviews are conducted or the meetings are conducted between the stakeholder and the developer. So whenever the user will approach the developer to give the requirements, so that functional requirements or the domain requirements or a technical and non-technical requirements, everything can be collected in terms of a model. So rather than in collecting this functionalities, rather than collecting this information in terms of a document or a script, the developer used to collect that information in terms of a model. So that will be very simple and easy in understanding whenever they are used to have a review with the users or with the stakeholders. So let us understand what exactly this use case diagram. So this use case diagram refers to as a behavioral model or it is a diagram. It simply describes and displays the relationship or interaction between the users or the customers and provides for the application service or the system. So a use case diagram is a type of unified modeling language diagram that represents the interaction between the actors and the system under consideration to accomplish specific goals. It provides a high-level view of the system functionalities by illustrating the various ways users can interact with it. So coming to the notations of the use case diagram. So UML notations provides a visual language that enables software developers, designers, and other stakeholders to communicate and document system designs, architecture, and behaviors in a consistent and understandable manner. So this is nothing but this model is helpful to communicate among the stakeholders and the designers, developers, and whoever going to develop the project. So coming to the notations, these are the various types of notations that are used to design the use case diagram. So the first one is an actor, second one use cases, system boundary, relationship, association relationship, include relationship, extend relationship, generalization relationship. So coming to the first notation, which is an actor. So actor can be typically represented by stick figure. So these actors are external entities that interact with the system. So these can include users, other systems, or hardware devices. So it may be anything, like it may be a person, or it may be a system, or it may be a hardware device. So anything will be as an actor. So in the context of a use case diagram, actors initiate use cases and receives the outcomes. So proper identification and understanding of actors are crucial for accurately modeling system behavior. So generally, there will be two types of actors. One is an high priority actors and low priority actors. So let us see the next annotation, which is an use case. So these use case are like sense in a play. So this represents specific things your system can do. In the online shopping system, example of use cases could be placed order, track delivery, or update product information. The use cases are represented by an oval shape. So we can see here, can be considered as an use case. The next one is the system boundary. So this system boundary is a visual representation of the scope or limits of the system you are modeling. It defines what is inside the system and what is outside. So the purpose of system boundary is to clearly outline the boundaries of the system, indicating which components are internal to the system and which are external actors or entities interacting with the system. So this can be represented with a rectangular box. The next are the relationships. So there are various types of relationships are there. The first one is an association relationship, represents a communication or interaction between an actor and the use cases. So as we know that this is an actor which is represented as a customer, or it may be an high priority actor or a low priority actor. And here we can see these are the cases between an actor and the user. This is one of the relation which is represented with a solid line called association. and this line connecting the actor to the use cases. This relationship signifies that the actor is involving in the functionality described by the use case. So example of an online banking system. So this is an customer. Actor is called as a customer in case of online banking, where the use case is an transferring the fund. So association is nothing but a line connecting the customer actor to the transfer funds use cases, indicating that the customer involvement in the funds transferring the process. The next relationship is an include relationship. The include relationship indicate that the use case includes the functionality of the another use case. It is denoted by the dashed arrow pointing from the including use case to the including use case. Like between the two use cases, a dotted arrow mark is used, which can be represented as an include, and that will be written on the top of an dotted arrow mark. So this relationship prompts modular and reusable designs. So whenever you need to include the extension of that, so then we can go for adding an extra use case to the existing one. So this use case example here in the social media posting, if you take the example of that use case is a compose post and adding images. So including relationship, the compose post use case includes the functionality of adding images. Therefore, composing the post including the actor of adding an image. So generally from one case to the other case, if you want to extend that, here we are going to use that include. Include in the sense we are including a new case to the existing case. The next one is the extend relationship. The extend relationship illustrates that the use case can be extended by another use case under significant conditions. It is represented by a dashed arrow with the keyword called extend. So when you talk about an include relationship, which is an including, like the outer case is going to be include. Now this is an extension, extending the existing use case. So this relationship is useful for handling the optional or exceptional behavior. So if you take a flight booking system, example, use cases are booking the flight, selecting the seats. So the extend relationship, the seat selected seat use case may extend the book flight use case when the user wants to choose a specific seat. So if you want to specifically choose any particular seat, but it is an optional step. So whenever we go for an extension, extension is an optional relationship that we depend upon, we can define. The next one is a generalization relationship. So the generalization relationship established as is a connection between two use cases, indicating that one use case is a specialized version of another. It is represented by an arrow pointing from the specialized use case to a generalized use case. So if you take an example of vehicle rental system, use cases here, one is a rent car and the one is a rent bike. So generalization relationship is both rent car and rent bike are specialized version of a general use case rent vehicle. So if you take this is a rent vehicle, these two are the generalized that are having a equal priority. One is a rent car and the one is a rent bike. Coming to the next one, how to draw this use case diagram in UML. So follow the steps. The first one is identify all the actors in the system. The second one is identify the use cases. And the third one is connecting the actors and use cases by using the relationships. Next one is add system boundaries. The boundary can be represented with an system, that is the rectangle box. And the next one is define the relationship among the use cases. Review and refine. So every time once the total model is defined or once the total diagram is completed, again we need to refine and check if any requirements are there or if any modifications are needed. So that can be done at the time of validate. So at the time of validate, once again, understand the total requirements, functional requirements, and then go through with the model. So these are the steps that are involved to maintain whenever the use case diagram is going to be designed or drawing. Coming to the case study, this is an online shopping system. Here we can find these are the actors between these are the actors where we can place the boundary of the system. So this rectangle box will represent the system boundary. On the top will have the name of the system, like whatever the problem statement or project can be represented on the top of the rectangle box, and inside that boundary will have all the cases, and these cases having a relationship with the external actors. So these actors will have an higher priority and lower priority. So depend upon the user requirement. If you take this example, online shopping, these are the various types of customers. One is the registered customer, web customer, and new customers. All these are the various types of customer actors, and these actors based on this priority, which are going to be interacted with the cases which are involved in the system. So in the system, we'll have a view item, and the next one is a purchasing that, checkout, and client registration. So all these are the various types of cases. Depend upon these actors, they'll be interacting and having a relation between these cases and actors. And this side we can see that identifying the authentication. Next one is identity provider, and next one is the credit payment services and PayPal. All these are the higher priority actors, and these are the low priority actors. And here we can find the cases inside the system. And this is called as a system boundary. So these are going to be defined the overall system, how it can be interacted, and what is the types of relation between the actors and the use cases. So what are the annotations that are involved in online shopping system? One is an actors. Under the actors, we'll have a customers and admin. The customer may have the high priority and the admin may have the low priority. Again, that depends on the developer. Developer can give the higher or lower priority for these actors. The second one is the use cases. Whatever the different types of borrower products, add to the cart, checkout, manage the inventory, that is an admin. All these comes under the use cases, which are inside the system boundary. And the next one is the relations. The relationships are going to be formed among the customer can browse the products, add to the cart, and complete the checkout. So the next one is the admin can manage the inventory. So the overall functionality can be maintained. So these are the various types of notations that are used to define the online shopping system. Hope we understood the what is an exactly use case with an example of an case study. Thank you.